Smith. I'm here for a showcase of films tonight. We're going to show 4 films here at the Lyric that I've been working on over the last couple of years. And one of them, the last film that we'll show, is a test screener for a film that we shot just a couple weeks ago. It's called 1078, which is a police code for help needed or assistance needed. And it's about the story of a police shooting. We see the body cam footage, just like it looks a lot like what we've seen on the news all too much lately. And then we go back in time earlier in the evening to get all the events leading up to it. We shot over the course of a couple of days on a night shoot.
Now, I know you're from Wyoming. Now, does this take place in Wyoming, or tell me a little bit more about the setting and the setup and the characters and whatnot?
It does, yeah. With the exception of one film, a documentary I shot in New Mexico, all of my films have been set in Cheyenne, Wyoming, which is where I live. Cheyenne is a big space in all of my films, and this one is no exception. It's set right downtown, and we see a lot of the city in the film, or of the town in the film. I hesitate to say this on a camera because Cheyenne is a hidden gem. It's very easy to shoot films there. The people are awesome. You need permits to shoot in the street. It's $20 at the city clerk's office. You get it like the next day.
Wow.
We shot in bars, we shot in markets, we shot in restaurants, and every time you walk in, you ask the manager, who, because I live there, I see, all the time. They're friends. They're like, yeah, when do you want it? Cool, cheers. Next to nothing as far as location rentals. So it's a very film-friendly town from that respect as well.
So who else is helping you with this kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. My producer from Miami was a guy named Lucas Ryder. My producer for Memorial Day was Sam O'Hare. My producer for this later film was Devin O'Rourke. All of them are officers in the Air Force with me. So we kind of have a tight little group of active duty Air Force filmmakers. I've used also some local crew in the area. Michael Mullen has been my assistant cameraman.
So tell me a little bit more about your process. What do you shoot on?
I didn't go to film school or anything, so I've been treating my time in the Air Force in Cheyenne as kind of my little own self-made film school. And this was sort of the thesis project for that. I've shot most of the other films just by myself, me and a camera. This one, I went back to a crew that I shot Miami, New Mexico documentary with a few years ago. So kind of got the crew back together, and we shot this film from the time that I wrote it. I wrote it in a couple of days, and 3 weeks later we were shooting it, and another 2 weeks later it was basically finished.
What unique challenges are you noticing not having gone to film school?
I think the number one challenge is just that Cheyenne is very much an island. So the networking that you get at film school, the contacts that you get for later in your career in the industry is definitely lacking in Cheyenne. I don't have many. In fact, I have next to no contacts like really in the industry. But every time I do a little project, they grow a little bit more. And the few contacts that I do have are really strong. My cinematographer and I have a great relationship. He's in LA. He's a working cinematographer out there. As far as the actual craft goes and just learning how to make a film and how to develop a style, I've been pretty fortunate to be able to do that on my own out there.
When you're getting together like a crew like you are, and they're coming from different places, tell me specifically where the gear comes from, what gear you're using. Are you buying? Are you renting? What is the whole story behind that?
Yeah, it's so if I'm shooting a project like the last couple of ones I've done where it's just me, usually lens rental supplies 75-80% of the gear because it's usually a little bit different camera setup each time, even if it's the same core system. I even if it's like going from the A7S to the A7S II or something like that, I'm hesitant to throw $5,000 to $10,000 at a camera system when I'm going to want the next gen next. So
it's like going to update.
Exactly. Yeah. So I usually just rent each time.
The upfront cost goes down significantly when you're renting, but there is still a cost. How do you procure funding for these films?
My credit card mostly.
The good old American way, right?
That's right. This is why showcases like this kind of help us get a little bit of the funding back and move into post-production as well, or cover some of post-production. But mostly I just try and save up. I mean, that's one of the things I'm really grateful for with my Air Force career is that Cheyenne's a fairly cheap town to live in, so I keep costs low and try and just put as much of it as I can into the film.
So what are your specific ambitions in the long run?
The goal is to shoot a feature in the next year and a half. I'm going to shoot one more short this spring, and then immediately go into hopefully raising money for the feature film.
Exactly. Well, through fundraising, sponsorships, all kinds.
Yeah, fundraising, sponsorships. Have 2 smaller production houses that I'm talking with. Hopefully, if I can get the backing of one of them, then we can find. Got a couple of friends that would be excellent producers that are willing to take it on. If we can find the production company to kind of back us.
You know, you're doing these films in a small town. What would be the advice that you would have for other small film communities that have, you know, a couple of moving parts? Really, you know, there's a lot of people doing stuff, but it's still very young culturally, and they're growing. What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice I would give is to work together as much as possible. You know, help your friend make a film, then they'll help you make a film. Go back and forth as much of that as you can do, because the more of a scene that you have, the more interest there's going to be going on.
Well, and on that note, I think that was enough. That all we needed. Thank you very much, brother, and good luck with that film.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it.